Well, hello, friends. Glad you could join us. Welcome to the final round of this 13th season of the Midwest F1 League. Tonight, we're in Division 2, where 4 drivers could potentially walk away with a Division 2 title. Before we go over the starting grid, let's remind you of that scenario coming into today. The top 4 in points go like this. It's Cam Tizzle atop at 336. It'll be Gab in second at 331, 5 points behind. It'll be Noganator in third at 311. Still in the mix. Is he the favorite? Not at all. But he's still there, and it could definitely happen. Slayerized, 307. Also, I would say, relatively in the mix. Well, this could be shaping up to be one of the best Division 2 races this league has ever seen. In the meantime, let's go over our starting grid. Starting on pole is the Ferrari of King Pro Player by 0.4 of a second. Now, by the way, Cam Tizzle had pole position, would have had that bonus point up until the absolute death when the Ferrari took it from him. It'll be Electric Blade, starting in third, about 4.5 behind. A tenth behind him, it'll be that of Race Chase in the Mercedes. The second championship contender of Gab starts a little bit further back in fifth. He's going to have a lot of work to do off the start here, but a dry race should help his cause. Flat out DRS racing. It will be that of Damn Sam in 6th. Brett drives fast 7th. Slayerized qualifying in 8th. 9th will be Ronnie. 10th will be Israel. And 11th will be the Noganator. Those are your 4 championship contenders there. So Slayerized out qualifying. Noganator looking to potentially get 3rd in the standings. Brian Mosser, 12th. 13th is Josh Sr. 14th is Frenchie. Then Big Bruiser rounding out the grid, P15. Now, it's a very simple like this, ladies and gentlemen. Somehow, some way, Gab needs to outscore Cam Tizzle by 6 points tonight. That is definitely more difficult than it sounds. We'll put it to you that way. Cam Tizzle is very well one of the more talented drivers this league has ever seen. And not only that, but with how this point structure is structured, it could be as simple as Gab finishing first, Cam Tizzle finishing third, and then Gab taking either hard charger or the fastest lap. He's not going to get pole. Cam Tizzle will not have that either. It may seriously come down to that 0.4 pole. If we're talking about not having any, any bonus points there, that could be as simple as Gab finishing in 2nd and Cam Tizzle finishing in 5th. But right now, what's important is this, the formation lap underway. We have got 15 cars on the grid for tonight, and some varying tire strategy, I'm sure. Well, that's actually not true. The majority of the grid has gone for the medium tires. King Pro Player, Israel, and Frenchie have decided to go hard on this occasion. That tells me this. The remaining of the 12 of the 15 drivers are planning for maybe an earlier safety car here, and those 3 guys saying, hey, I trust the quality of the Division 2 grid. That's just not going to happen. The question is, Cam Tizzle, how aggressively does he play it off the start? That question, I think, also has to be asked of Gab here, because he is right in the mix, 3 positions behind Cam Tizzle. Something, I think, has got to happen to Cam here to realistically give Gab a fantastic shot. Of course, a lot of laps of this Grand Prix to come, not to mention Slayerized and Noganator in this battle as well. Oh, and look at this, on the formation lap. We've not even started the race yet, and we've already got collisions between Noganator and Brian Mosser. It just does not get any more Div 2 than that. Well, King Pro Player leads them down the back straight now, heading in towards that turn 12, 13, and 14, in towards what I believe is modeled after Hockenheim Stadium section here. Could see some overtaking going in toward this very tight left-hander at turn 15. How the track on the inside kind of drops away from you there, as you'll see. Definitely lower on the inside of the corner than the out. Sometimes we'll see drivers go through there. Then through this almost Sochi Ultradome type corner. This 12 to 17 is the strap from medium to hards, but almost that 16, 17, 18, that try right-hander. Not going to see many cars go side by side through that, but it is possible. But the question is, Cam Tizzle, does he get away well? Does Gab fare well with the traffic around him? As somebody who competed in a Division 3 championship and the Constructors Championship, it is very interesting knowing that you're in battle for a position when there's also, only 16 other cars in the way. There's 4 of you, 2 teams, battling for the championship, 16 cars around you. So that mix is definitely going to have to be dealt with here by Gab. Of course, only starting 5th. He's got a good look at Cam Tizzle up there on his left, as we're just waiting for Big Bruiser to rejoin the grid for the 15th and final time this season. The cars are on the grid. King Pro Player on the outside, Cam Tizzle on the inside. It will be a straight-up drag race up the hill into turn 1. 4 lights, 5 lights, and for the final time this season, Gab has a drive-through penalty off the start. Goodness gracious, it's done it already. King Pro Player gets a halfway decent start, but it's going to be 3 wide. Up the inside goes Cam Tizzle. Electric Blade trying it round the outside. He's not quite going to be there, but Gab has made the ultimate of errors here on the start of a Grand Prix, which he pretty much needs to win. Electric Blade side by side still with Cam Tizzle. Oh, and there's contact there! And Cam Tizzle, well, that car got a little bit unsettled. He's held it together somehow, but goodness me, already we're not even 10 corners in. We got some drama. Gab getting around. Brett drives fast. Of course, he's going to have to serve that drive-through penalty sooner rather than later, would be my guess. And not to mention that, but you can't serve it under any sort of safety car or virtual safety car. That's key. Around the outside goes Israel and Noganator, those two battling very well for the time being. Let's see if it holds out in that way. Down the back straight they go. King Pro Player leads Electric Blade by 0.3 of a second. Cam Tizzle a little bit further behind, 7.5, but that is very much less important to what's just happened now. Gab needed a good getaway. In fairness, he got one, but a little bit earlier than everyone else, and no, you can't do that. Electric Blade gets a little bit wiggly going through the first couple of corners there, Sector 3, 13 and 14. That car looks slightly unsettled. We've got Brian Mosser and Israel battling it out here for the time being. Brian Mosser, Israel kind of, I was going to say files in behind. That's not necessarily true. Well, this time decides to. We got Ronnie and Frenchie side by side. Whoa, nearly some contact there, maybe just a little bit. At the end of the first lap of this Grand Prix, King Pro Player leads Electric Blade. Cam Tizzle down to 3rd. Race Chase 4th. Damn Sam 5th. Gab in 6th. But a drive-through penalty for Gab for jumping the start. That has got to be some of the worst ways to start a championship-winning Grand Prix I've ever seen. Israel and Noganator battling it out now. Big Bruiser's got a 10er for speeding into the pit lane. Early woes for him, as it turns out. Maybe a retirement here. No, but it's at least going to be a front wing change. Yeah, he's missing a lot of it on the right side. Up the hill now, going through turn 7, 8, and 9, and eventually going then down the hill towards turn 10. Now in Sector 2. Cut that little piece of the corner off there, down the hill in towards turn 11. Don't expect to see many outbraking maneuvers in here because the DRS is very powerful going down this section of track, and I think you'd rather want it into turn 12 than actually into 11, get that overtake done, and then miss out and get passed again with the DRS of the driver behind you. But Electric Blade, round the outside, looking forward to King Pro Player, into the corner, little bit of lockups for the both of them then. Cam Tizzle watches from a safe distance behind, that's probably a good decision. Oh, contact there! Electric Blade and Cam Tizzle's had to slam on the brakes then to avoid the sliding Haas. The wing damage here for Cam Tizzle would be the second worst thing to happen to a championship contending driver today. 0.2 of a second between King Pro Player and Electric Blade. Cam Tizzle watching along, hoping that these two keep it clean, or potentially a window opens somewhere along the line as they make their way out of the final corner, that being turn 20. And then down the pit straight, Gab is now serving his drive-through penalty. He will come out behind the rest of the grid, and worse off, he is not going to be on new tires as well. Up the hill, Electric Blade, round the outside, he's going to go a little bit deeper. Oh, maybe does he perform the switchback? That's absolutely what he does. And around the outside, a King Pro Player, still side by side now as we about to begin. The Sector 1 S is here, very similar to that of Maggots and Beckett's at Silverstone. I believe that's what that was modeled after. And well, for the time being, Electric Blade has held it together. He's gotten around King Pro Player, and we have a new leader. Cam Tizzle has King Pro Player in his sights, but Race Chase in the picture. Damn Sam in there as well. Brett drives fast. Slayer Eyes and Noganator. Actually, I will say this. Slayer Eyes seems to have a pretty good getaway here. Noganator up 3 in his own right, but about 2 seconds behind that is Slayer Eyes. Heading down the back straight now. Slayer Eyes trying to close in on Brett drives fast. DRS for everybody involved. King Pro Player back down to the inside. Oh, Cam Tizzle's going to go for it now. Into the braking zone at turn 12. Has he got it? Side by side. Maybe some contact there. Cam Tizzle holds on. No damage apparent. But goodness me, he is going for it despite the suddenly great odds that he finds himself in. 1, 2, and 3. Cam Tizzle back up to 2nd. Electric Blade falls to 3rd. And I don't even think Electric Blade thought Cam Tizzle was going to go for that. Fantastic decision by Cam Tizzle, and he's absolutely gone for it, and he's made it happen. Well, Gab has fallen back down to 13th. Currently 2.5 seconds behind Frenchie, but then 9 seconds behind the tail end of that lead pack of Brian Mosser. That's the caboose of that train, and it looks as if it's not going to be getting any better. We have a yellow flag in the back. Israel's gone off then. A little bit of front wing damage is going up the hill through turn 1. Cam Tizzle's in on that battle. Electric Blade's gone down the inside of the V-carb in question. I think maybe Cam Tizzle got into the grass there. Got some grass in the lens, but it appears otherwise. Everything seems okay for the time being. Race Chase in this battle as well. And this is the interesting thing here, because if you're a driver like King Pro Player, Electric Blade, and Race Chase, you know that this guy ahead of you in third right now currently is battling for a championship. Does that halt you from actually going on and battling more? Yeah, that's a question we'll have to wait to decide. Josh Senior has similarly done it to Israel then. He's had a little bit of a spin, albeit he's not lost any front wing. Heading down the backstretch now. Electric Blade, is he going to try it on the left? Yes, he will, to the inside. And he will have King Pro Player well before they get to the braking zone. Once again, a new leader. Cam Tizzle into the braking zone there, knowing that he's got to keep a safe distance from the Ferrari ahead, because if he locks up and pushes on straight, that will not go well. Not even 5 laps into this Grand Prix. We've got some fantastic action, and we've got some drama. Gab on the medium tires as well. Albeit if he was on the hards, that probably could have helped him. But, maybe now is the option for Gab to really push the pace safely as much as you can, and then be in that position, once pit stops come round. It's a very difficult question to ask. Israel's got a 3-second penalty for multiple warnings up the hill. King Pro Player to the back end of Electric Blade. A little bit of contact there on the rear wing. King Pro Player still hangs to the inside. Electric kind of swerved around, trying to carry more speed. Damn Sam is currently side by side with the championship contender of Slayerized as they make their way into the S's. A little bit jumbled behind. Slayerized leads Noganator now, albeit only by 0.3 of a second. He's getting very close here for that third spot. By the way, well, promotion relegation is slightly irrelevant now, as we've kind of gotten rid of that in the sense of what it used to be. Now it's more or less if you are, ready to go up to no assists next season in Division 1. So it's a 10th and a half. Noganator, does he have a look at Slayerized potentially? Follows in line. We'll have a look at that in a minute. It's Cam Tizzle trying it on the inside. King Pro Player going forward as well. 3 abreast heading into turn 12. Guys, it's only the 5th lap. We do not need to be going this ballsy here this early. But Cam Tizzle now side by side with King Pro Player, making their way through 13, 14. That's a lot of contact there. And goodness me, well, Cam Tizzle's kept it together for the time being. Electric Blade watches on. He's probably got a great camera shot of this, as they're still side by side for the lead of the Grand Prix. King Pro Player, mind you, on the hards. And as we follow along here, Cam Tizzle's going to tuck back in line only for the time being. As we have a yellow flag, and I believe it's Israel that's gone around. Yes, he has. That car appears to have gotten itself against the barriers before turn 10. It seems he's lost it on the uphill transition over turn 9. It does happen from time to time. Sometimes you can just catch that curb on the outside wrong, and I think that's what's happened. Up the hill, side by side. Wheel to wheel they go. King Pro Player, this time rather parks it on the apex. He's defended well. Damn Sam and Noganator side by side. Noganator goes way to the inside. Oh, that's a lot of contact. And Damn Sam, well, I'm a little surprised he's not missing any front wing. That was a lot of contact there. Slayerized have been overtaken by, I believe, both Ronnie and Damn Sam in the recent laps. But either way, Gab has gotten around Frenchie. He's 5.5 seconds outside of Brian Mosser, who seems to be trailing on the back end of that kind of middle of the pack then. King Pro Player leads in towards turn 11. Oh, by the way, with so much action here in the opening stages, we forgot to even crack open our cold one. Oh yeah, we are good to go. Division 2, where it's so good that Hotspot forgets that he has beer. Anyways, in towards turn 12 they go, and it appears for the time being, we've got Damn Sam, Noganator, as well as Ronnie trying to fight their way into this one as well. Damn Sam appeared to have tried to go around the outside. Ronnie wanted the inside. I think Noganator may have actually just been gobbled up by the 2. Slayerized kind of watches on. I think might be conserving here just a little bit. He's not really in position to attack any of these cars ahead, but what I will say is this. He may want to start thinking about that, because there is a 4-second gap between Damn Sam and Brett Drives Fast, that being for 5th and 6th, and Slayerized needs all the points he can get. Bit of a slide going on throttle there. Electric Blade still has a spot going up the hill. Cam Tizzle, I don't believe, is going to try it on King Pro Player this time. Making their way through the S's, though go. I do apologize. I'm trying to get a slight, what's the word I'm looking for? Trying to get us some live points. At the moment, Gab holding at a 350. Noganator in 8th. Noganator will be at 333. Slayer Eyes, I believe they're in 9th. Yes, he is. He will be at a 328. Cam Tizzle now currently in 2nd, as Damn Sam and Ronnie battling it out once more. Cam Tizzle had a 368, so for the time being, a 16-point gap. Sorry, 18-point gap between Gab and Cam Tizzle. But pit stop still in the way. Of course, we're only really about, what, a quarter of the way through this race. Still a lot left to go here. Once again, don't forget, there is a point up for grabs for both fastest lap and hard charger. Hard charger, as we have a yellow flag somewhere along the line. That's either a Red Bull or a McLaren. Something has gone wrong there. Slayer Eyes looks all right. Brian Monster doesn't appear anything's wrong with him. Potentially a false alarm, but still either way. King Pro Player and Cam Tizzle still battling side by side. Ronnie currently has the fastest lap. Now, this is what I was going to say earlier, as Slayer Eyes actually getting around Electric Blade here. Electric Blade into the pit lane, the first of what I believe the strategical stops today. So what I meant to say was this, as I've been rudely interrupted for the 3rd time now. Hard Charger works like this. It is most positions gained from your beginning starting spot. So when the game says driver of the day, that's usually the driver that picks up the most positions gained. So that's where that point comes into play. None of the championship contenders up for grabs for the pole point. We know that. Fastest lap of the Grand Prix currently goes to that of... who does it go? Currently to Ronnie at a 1:36.404. As Cam Tizzle going down the inside. And looks as if he's going to get that one. Only just and only for now is King Pro Player trying it around the outside. Trying to now switch to the inside. Wheel to wheel they go. Going now through turn 12. Still wheel to wheel. Race Chase watches on. Hoping for a mistake from these two. As King Pro Player still to the inside. Through the try right-hander. As the Ferrari up the inside. And he's going to get his lead back. But once again, you have to think these guys are battling very, very hard. And we're only, beginning the 9th lap of the Grand Prix here. Has to be said. Cam Tizzle up the inside now, looking forward on King Pro Player, and it looks like he parks it on the apex. No, King Pro Player is going to switch him back to the inside. Brilliantly taken then from King Pro Player. They're going to be side by side. Now going through the S's here. Cam Tizzle does stay in a good position. Let me tell you something right now. Stainless steel balls provided by Cam Tizzle for being in the situation that he's in, racing this hard, knowing that he currently, well, maybe not knowing, that he's got an 18-point advantage over at least the 2nd place guy in the standings. Wow. Massive. King Pro Player trying to outbrake him to the inside. Well, interesting to see who's going to end up with DRS this time. I'm not too sure who it was at the detection point, and it will be that of Cam Tizzle with DRS. So it looks like he's going to... Oh! King Pro Player blocks him to the inside, and Cam Tizzle will go around the outside. Oh, and I really hope there's no wing damage. It doesn't appear visible, at least, for Cam Tizzle. But King Pro Player went to the inside. Cam Tizzle also went to the inside. I don't know who reacted first. I think if King Pro Player went to the inside before Cam Tizzle also wanted to go low, that's not technically a block. That's a defensive maneuver, I want to say. That's a really tough call to make. I think realistically, because they're nose to tail like that, King Pro Player ahead, he will obviously defend in that scenario. It's going to depend on who moved first, because if King Pro Player... it probably doesn't mean anything in the grand scheme of things. Let's put it that way. Cam Tizzle does not have any apparent wing damage. But let's say he did. Would that have been a penalty to King Pro Player? That's the million-dollar question. Speaking of million-dollar questions, let's answer this one. As we have a yellow flag. Apologies, somewhere along the line, Israel's gone around again, this time exiting turn number 9, very similar to where he went off before. Going up now through 7, 8, and 9 here. The duo of Ronnie and Damn Sam still battling it out for that 5th spot. We will check with them in a little bit, but once again, the battle for the lead here. Race Chase entering the fray as well, does have DRS. Let's see what King Pro Player does this time. Cam Tizzle goes low, kind of floats back up. Oh, King Pro Player has been slightly undecisive there. Side by side, round the outside, is going Race Chase. Is he going to be able to have it? No, Cam Tizzle's going to get better acceleration on the inside. Only just, but it's now side by side between King Pro Player and Race Chase. As it looks like now, this is what's interesting here, because these two battle, and Cam Tizzle will begin to pull away with that lead. Let's remember that. Electric Blade's got a 3-second penalty for multiple warnings. That'll give that 9th spot to Gab. And I think we're at the position as well where the Red Bull team not necessarily has solidified Drivers' Championship if it's not official already, but definitely in the picture. Cam Tizzle into the pit lane. Let's see what happens here. Brett drives fast. 3-second penalty for multiple warnings. We're assuming just the hard tires then for Cam Tizzle. I'd be more surprised if he didn't. I will say it seems as if he's pitting slightly early as we have a yellow flag. Ronnie's gone around. I think has he gone slightly undecisive there in trying to find his way either into the pit lane or back out on track. That's a little bit of a weird one, that. Cam Tizzle's going to exit back out on track in 7th position. Right amongst the gap here with Gab. Now, once again, we think of it this way. Cam Tizzle does now have about a pit stop advantage over his main championship rival, who, again, if it wasn't for that error off the start, you'd have to think that this one would still be well up for grabs. But I'm not going to say we're losing time already. Let's get that clear. There's still a lot of time left in this Grand Prix. But when you think about it in terms as a racer, and you think about you're already halfway done, tire strategy done for the car ahead, yeah, desperate isn't the word, but you got to start hoping for a Jesus miracle going on right about now. So Ronnie's picked up a 3-second penalty for multiple warnings. Is now King Pro Player trying his best, looking for it on Race Chase here. Brett drives fast, the next one along the line. Noganator now up to 5th, also on the hard tires. Medium tires, Slayerized as well. I think if a safety car were to come out right about now, that would be probably good for Gab, because he would just be able to pit, stay, and relatively get caught up as well to those around him. He's got 2 seconds to Cam Tizzle for the time being. 0.3 of a second for Electric Blade back to Slayerized. Slayerized, once again, is in this battle for the championship only, 20-some-odd points behind, as Electric Blade's going to try it around the right side. He's going to get that spot. Slayerized apparently seemed to have backed off there, it did seem. Up the hill into turn 1, less than 0.2 of a second, separating the two as they battle. Into the pit lane as Brett drives fast. Noganator has stayed out on track as well. Electric Blade stays out, Slayerized stays out, Brett drives fast in, Sam in, Gab also stays out. I think Gab looking for track position as much as he can. Cam Tizzle and Slayerized, 2 of the 4, battling for this championship. Slayerized ahead. Slayerized very much on the outside looking in, but I think right now what Slayerized is going to do is going to absolutely try to hold up Gab here. They are a team, after all, Slayerized and Gab, and by the way, that is the team leading the constructor standings. So, maybe do we see a little bit of Checo Perez here from MMR Slayerized? Is it possible? I believe it is. Front to back here, Cam Tizzle. Boy, he's going to really have to work for this one. Tucks back in line of Slayerized, and I think maybe is the DRS the best go about it here, because he's going to get around Slayerized anyway. It's just a matter of time. Slayerized will keep to the outside that time, I'm afraid. Anything more, I think, would be slightly unsportsmanlike, really. King Pro Player has gotten around Race Chase, it appears. But I think as far as what Gab was going to want from Slayerized there, he's absolutely done it. Once again, you got to understand as well, Slayerized is still in this battle. The question is going to be, I think, realistically, where does he end up? Mercedes a Race Chase into the pit lane now. Medium tires to hard tires here, naturally, for the Mercedes in question. No wings to be changed. Noganator on his way in as well. Electric Blade stays out. I believe he was the first driver to pit from the hards, from the mediums to the hards. Israel's got a 3-second penalty for multiple warnings. He's up to 6. So King Pro Player still in the lead on the hards in which he started this race on. Electric Blade second, 15 and some odd seconds behind. Cam Tizzle third, behind by only 2 seconds, so he would get a net second place. As Ronnie has now retired from the session in the pit lane, I'm afraid, after having picked up a tenner for speeding into the pit lane. So we're down to 14 now. Just looking to see here if we already have released the Season 14 calendar. I'm not too sure that we have. Yeah, I don't know. I do know that it's done. The question is if we're allowed to announce it yet. Brett drives fast to the inside of Gab. Looks as if Brett's going to be able to have this one, unless does Gab strike back now. Side by side, wheel to wheel they go. A little bit of rubbing going about there. Nothing more than you'd find on any other given racing circuit. So this time by, next time by, we'll be halfway through this American Grand Prix. Gab has, well, for the time being, sits 6th as Israel retires in the pit lane, thankfully. 9/10 of a second back to Brett drives fast again. Gab started in that 5th spot. Picked up a drive-through penalty for jumping the start. Into the pit lane goes Gab. Now, this is what I'm interested in here, because Pitt coming up here for the Red Bull. Where does he fall to? He's going to lose at least a spot to Damn Sam, as we have a yellow flag somewhere along the line. Well, I believe, actually, the Williams of Israel, that robot, is coming back out on track. Tidy stop, then, from the Red Bull. I think he's going to go at least back down to 9th. Slayer has stayed out on track, so yeah, it'll be 9th spot for Gab unless he can battle potentially Frenchie up the hill. I think either way he's going to be quicker on what I would assume is new tires. Yep. So back down to 9th for Gab. Noganator to 7th. Cam Tizzle up to 3rd. Once again, really quickly, we'll try to have a look at our what do you call it here, at a live points tally heading into this. Once again, we got to keep an eye on the fastest lap as well. That's very important in this circumstance here. Fastest lap does belong to Cam Tizzle for the time being. So at a tentative 367 points. Noganator in that 7th spot for the time being. That'll put him up to 334. Slayerized in 8th and 9th belonging to Gab. 8th for Slayerized puts him at 329. Gab, oh, I laid on the brakes there, Cam Tizzle. Goodness me, that one was close, wasn't it? And Gab in 9th, 352. So it appears now Gab would still be second in the table. 3rd would actually then be Noganator, and Slayerized would be 4th, as I'm pretty sure it was anyways. So the more things change, the more they stay the same. But what hasn't changed here is Cam Tizzle's desire to win this race on track, as he's still 0.3 of a second behind Electric Blade. Electric Blade is a penalty, and then 14 seconds up the road is the leader of King Pro Player. Still has yet to stop, mind you. So this battle here is for the genuine win of the Grand Prix, it seems. I will say it does appear for the time being that will belong to Cam Tizzle once the penalty is applied. Brett drives fast now on a 3-second for penalty for time for track limits. You do have to understand as well as that if penalties are to keep being picked up here, we could see some positions be jostled about with penalties after, and of course, Stewart reports nothing is ever final until that message is posted in Stewart's findings. Cam Tizzle's going a little bit wide that time. Loses a couple of tenths to Electric Blade. This is currently the closest battle on track here. As into the pit lane comes King Pro Player, 15 seconds up the road. On to now what is certainly going to be the medium tires. The question belongs to this, though. Does he exit the pit in a manner that will actually find himself potentially a battle with the other two cars. I don't think he will. He's just a little bit too far behind. Race Chase, though, now having the fastest lap. King Pro Player appears to exit the pit lane back in 4th, a couple of seconds behind Race Chase in 3rd. Once again, the battle for the lead between Cam Tizzle, 0.4 of a second. Electric Blade, currently the leader, of course, with a 3-second time penalty to his name as well. That's something to very much keep an eye on. Hard Charger at this point does belong to that of the Noganator, so that would be a bonus point for him. I suppose we'll have a quick look at our constructor standings as well. I don't believe I've seen anything that to the inside. Cantus is going to get that spot. Still 0.3 of a second. We'll have a look at the constructors real quick. 6:38 to the 5:56 Red Bull back to Alpine. So 82-point gap coming into today's race. Let's just for gits and shiggles, the most points you could get is only 67. Hang on. So 67, 68, 69, potentially 70 points. So yeah, that's wrapped up between them. And Cam Tizzle now is the fastest lap as well. So Red Bull, your constructors champions. But the V-carb of Cam Tizzle, riding into the sunset, not exactly the cliche I would use to describe Cam Tizzle, but, well, the more this race goes on, the more that certainly appears to be the case. Although still, coming up on 10 laps to go, anything can happen. .5 of a second, still Electric Blade with DRS. 0.4 of a second now, definitely going for it. Let's see, to the inside goes Cam Tizzle. Blade on the brakes he goes, side by side. Oh, contact there, goodness me. Easy now, fellas. Side by side, still good wheel-to-wheel racing here. Electric Blade, former, I want to say Division 1 driver as well. I think he maybe even won a Division 2 Drivers' Championship. I have to look and be sure. Yep, Season 9, Division 2 champion in Electric Blade. Back out on track here. It's actually interesting. Ooh, as Big Bruiser, well, big slide there for Cam Tizzle, Big Bruiser picking up a 3-second time penalty. What's interesting here is that there has never been a repeat Division 2 champion. King Pro Player now currently the fastest lap. Electric Blade, along with winning the Drivers' Championship, did play the big part in helping the V-Carb team win the Constructors in Season 9, along with Grim Reefer. That's a name I haven't heard in a while. So coming to the line this time will be 10 laps to go in the Division 2 finale. I'll put it to you this way. The action has happened at the start of the Grand Prix here. I think Gab realizes his best chance probably behind him now. All the things he can hope for. Pray to whatever God that he believes in. Dig deep, put in the best laps that you can, and hope that some sort of divine interference here comes in and throws you a massive bone here. It's the sort of thing I used to think about in that final race, Abu Dhabi 2021, between Max and Lewis. You know, we got about 10 laps to go. Max was just nowhere close to being ready to in position to win that race and that championship, and wow, goodness me, something definitely happened at that point. Could we see more of the same here? Car going into the pit lane, that's going to be the Aston Martin. It's not the Noganator. It's that of Big Bruiser that I believe could be going in to retire here, potentially. No, it doesn't appear so. 10 laps to go at COTA on the eve of the first practice session for the real-life American Grand Prix, as well as the sprint race. I think what's interesting to me is that Cam Tizzle, I mean, he's had a fantastic season this, but Gab has equally done very good to stay within this range. I mean, we look at the drivers who have won this season. Cam Tizzle has won 3 times. Australia, Austria, and then Singapore. King Pro Player won Brazil. Cam Tizzle won Canada. Cam Tizzle also won Japan. Cam Tizzle looking for the three-peat here, potentially. Back-to-back-to-back wins. That would be absolutely something there for Cam Tizzle. We got 0.2 of a second here between King Pro Player and Electric Blade as they make their way up through turn 20 and down the pit straight they go. Gab is within 7.5, 8 of his teammate here. Could potentially things get dicey between the Constructors' champions up the hill. King Pro Player has the inside of Electric Blade. Seems to be a, well, foregone conclusion isn't necessarily the word I was looking for, but one of those moves that with DRS applied as well, you just really didn't have any doubt that that was going to be made. Currently now a 2-second gap back to Cam Tizzle. One of the 2 closest battles on track, and the other, again, the 2 Red Bull cars. Noganator's got 12 seconds back to Damn Sam. Oh, we do have a yellow flag. Frenchie appears to have gone round somewhere along the line. That car seems to have taken some grass clippings with it. I don't believe he's actually hit anything. That's the thing about this track, you know, very wide open, very safe for a driver. You're just probably not going to hit something if you do have an off. The only place that would happen is, you know, maybe up the hill through Sector 2 there. You're really just not going to hit anything otherwise. I think for a driver like Gab, who, you know, really needs a safety car right about now, that is not the answer he wanted to hear. Once again, the 2 Red Bull drivers Slayerized. I think both of these guys doing well. Gab will pull to the inside up to 8th now. .4 of a second between Gab and Slayerized here still. We'll go back to the top as Electric Blade actually into the pit lane now. Going for soft tires, potentially. Going for that fastest lap point. I see how it is. Into the pit lane does go Electric Blade. Medium tires going on for the Haas here. Bit of an odd decision to go for a 2-stopper. Not really sure what that decision is about. Maybe he's seen something he doesn't like about those tires. Of course, he did stop early as well. Let's be real. He did stop about 4 laps earlier than those around him. So once again, let's recap our group of points. King Pro Player currently with the fastest lap by about a lot. 1:34.523. The next quickest time is a 1:36 flat by Cam Tizzle. Hard Charger at the moment belongs to the Noganator, being +4. Oh, goodness me! King Pro Player! Oh, goodness me! He's gone right into the back of Cam Tizzle. Oh, that I tell you what, that one got the heart rate going a little bit. A little risky. Down the pit straight they go, up the hill, beginning the 22nd lap of the Grand Prix, out of 28. Still 7 laps to go here. 22, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Let me tell you something. Still a lot of time for things to go wrong, especially on this track. Let me tell you something. This is a very difficult track to. Well, hey, speak of the devil, we got an Aston Martin around somewhere. It is Big Bruiser. Seems to have gone for a small spin. He's fixed whatever ailments that plagued him. Down the hill, heading in towards turn 11. Once again, this is currently the closest battle on track for position. The gap from Electric Blade to Noganator is about 7 seconds, so that penalty for Electric Blade won't really have much relevance in the grand scheme of things. But let's see if King Pro Player can find the move here to the inside, going for the win of the Grand Prix. Still side by side, going through turn 12. And now, King Pro Player, does he send it round the outside? Still side by side between the two. Can tell you what, contact being made as if it was a battle at week 8, at week 8 right here, man. Just, you know, mid-season battles. Two drivers absolutely going for it. Let's ignore the fact that Cam Tizzle on the brink of winning a championship. King Pro Player 10th in the standings, although a win here would do him fantastic, that's for sure. And in a way, I actually kind of admire that between these two. That the respect is still there, the hunger and the aggression is still there, despite Cam Tizzle obviously being in the championship winning scenario. And for King Pro Player as well to not just, you know, lay down for him and let Cam Tizzle have the spot and be clean. They want to race. Speaking of racing, Gab is about to have a move here on Noganator potentially in the next couple of laps. Up the hill, heading in towards turn 1. It's about half a second here for that 7th spot. Of course, a mountain to climb after that for Gab, and that would, I believe, strip the Noganator out of the hard charger, although I think at that point it's actually shared by any of the drivers that at that point are +3. Let me actually see what it says in the point structure. 1 bonus point for hard charger. If 2 or more drivers tie, a point is awarded to all that tie. So Noganator, 4 positions gained, would then share it. I don't think would be with Brett Drives Fast. He's going to lose that spot with the penalty. Frenchie, not at the moment, is going to lose that spot to Josh Senior. He's up 3 spots. And then, of course, himself, unless... Let's see here. Does Gab have a say about it? Looking to the inside. Gab going for it. No, not quite. 0.3 of a second. 5 laps to go here in COTA. By the way, once again, the fastest lap of the race does currently belong to Electric Blade. 1:34 at 3:76. Has actually improved quite a lot. Remember, King Pro Player had the fastest lap before that. Only 2 of the drivers on track, the only 2 to be in the 1:34s. We were seeing 1:36s in the first stint. Matter of fact, the majority of the grid in the 1:36 range. Cam Tizzle, Race Chase, Brett Drives Fast, Damn Sam, Gab, Slayerized, all within the 1:36s. A couple of teetering there in the 1:37s, but still. I have to say, incredibly quick laps for King Pro Player and Electric Blade, and you have to think. Next season, we go down to 2 divisions. Division 1, no assists. Division 2, all assists. So the inside-looking King Pro Player. Well, I thought he was going to go to the inside. He's chosen not to that time. I think next season's going to be really exciting. You know, I think unfortunately we're going down to 3 divisions. Let's put it that way. It's very unfortunate that we have to go downsize. It's not fun to see a league which once had 7, nearly 8 divisions, you know, make their way down to only just 2 once again as we started. As Gab and Noganator battling it out north for that 7th spot. Gab has taken that position. But the silver lining to that cloud is this. Now we're going to get these drivers who do use assists into the same grid with these Division 2 guys here. It will be not restricted on assists. I think it's going to be genuinely on race paces. They're side by side up the hill for the lead. King Pro Player does send it to the inside there. Oh, well, contact. Has Cam Tizzle lost any bit of a front wing? No, it doesn't appear that he has, but goodness me, there was definitely some collisioning happening there. Anyways, as I was saying, we go down to 2 divisions. Division 1 being no assists. I think those guys are going to be able to hold their seats. Not many... Let me tell you something. Not many drivers can genuinely do no assists competently and get away with it. It is a very tough task. Up the hill side by side. Gab has been taken by the Noganeer there up the hill. The guys in Division 1 absolutely deserve to be there, that's for sure. However, I think Division 2 is going to be very exciting. Now that we're going to have drivers of all skill levels. Sleigh Rise has now left the session, I'm afraid. Whether that's by design or not, I'm not sure. Side by side they go. King Pro player is going to get round Cam Tizzle this time. Coming to the line, 26, 27, 28. 3 laps to go at the line this time. Division 2 is going to be fantastic this year. Some of these guys that, you know... I think because the problem is that when you look at Division 1 and you look at them having no assists, the question always is that are assists making drivers quicker? The answer to that question is yes. However, I am a driver that used assists. I couldn't get above Div 3. I had some great moments. I think I kicked some ass at points in F2 when we used to do that. But there's no way I could ever compete on a Division 1 stage. There's just not. Those guys are genuinely quick. I do not think it is assists that matter if a driver is quick or not. I think if you have it, you have it, and if you don't, you don't. And I think what's going to be exciting here about Division 2 is that we're going to see some of these drivers, compete. Even those that do use assists, even though that do... need that extra step forward, now are going to be on the level playing field with the guys who don't need it, who I think are already going to be seasoned and quicker anyways. Because now we're gonna look at guys like Cam Tizzle, we're gonna look at guys like King Pro Player, who I think is actually still on gamepad, by the way, if I remember that correctly. We're looking at all these guys who race no assists, little to no assists here in Division 2 already. Probably at what the threshold of what the assist allows. We have a yellow flag going down the backstretch. I think the McLaren of... It's not Brian Moss or Damn Sam had a bit of a moment there. But we're looking at the guys now who are, in that position. They use the bare minimum assists already. And those guys that do use the assists are going to be on that same playing field. But I think those guys who are not with the assists are going to be quick anyway. I think it's a lot of hoopla over something that, at the end of the day, probably isn't going to make that much of a difference, realistically. Those who are still quick are going to migrate to the top, and that's how it's going to be. 2 laps between Cam Tizzle and a Division 2 title. He's still racing, and damn hard as well, with King Pro Player going up that hill through the first corner. Cam Tizzle has gotten him there with DRS, and Cam Tizzle absolutely wants to go out from this race. 3 race wins in a row. So let's see, 3 race wins in a row. That will make it 6 for him on the season. Is that a Division 2 record? It's got to be up there, surely. Lancey won 4 races last season. Mac won 1, 2, 3, 4 in season 11. Posh Josh won 3 in a row, the first opening 3 as well. And then Lightwork won 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4 for Say. 4 in a row for Say in season 9. T-Brum, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for him. Lightwork 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in season 7, I believe. What is the current record? Let's see, we have to go back to even the earlier seasons. Certainly possible. Cam Tizzle, less than a lap away from being Division 2 champion. Yep, I think this is right here to tie the Division II record for 6 wins in a season. We have a yellow flag. Oh, the Sauber has gone off there. I think a Frenchie. What season did I say it was where we had that record? I think it was season 7. Down the back straight they go. King Pro player is going to definitely send it to the inside. Oh, goodness me. Well, once again, we're going for history here. Cam Tizzle's got to get this spot. Whoa, he's gone off track. Well, he's gone around King Pro player. They're still side by side. Cam Tizzle's got to let him have that spot back, and he does. King Pro player on the move to potentially seem to win the Grand Prix. I think Cam Tizzle absolutely went for it there, and I think he's gone too deep. Overtook him off track potentially. With just a couple of corners to go, King Pro player rounds the final corner. Looks like he'll win the race. But Cam Tizzle, the man who was favored on the way in, had some help elsewhere. But Division II champion for Cam Tizzle. And unfortunately, a race shy of tying the Division II season race win record. But that is a fantastic season for him. Absolute congratulations to him. Big congratulations as well to Gab, Noganator, and Slayer Eyes for making this one interesting too. Let me tell you something. We had, we had a very fun race this. I mean, I think the circumstances there, Gab's got to be proud of what he was able to accomplish this season. Up 3 positions is Noganator. He will get that hard charger point. Fastest lap as well goes to Electric Blade. But Cam Tizzle, Division II champion for Hotspot. It has been a pleasure joining you here for this 13th edition of the Midwest F1 League. Only the 12th season, actually, of Division II, but we're not counting, are we? Season 14 coming upon us, and let me tell you, I think that one's going to be damn fine. Until next time, Midwest.